Hello and welcome to the Nintendo Network, and today we're going to be discussing two popular subjects, Nintendo Switch Online and the Classic line of systems, and why I firmly believe we will not be getting a Nintendo 64 Classic or any other classic systems from here on out. From Nintendo at least. And it is because of the Nintendo Switch Online services. But let me explain why. The NES Classic system boomed, like it had a crazy amount of hype behind it. So much so that they were very rare for a very long time. Purchasing them secondhand cost you a pretty penny. And during the whole situation, I sort of sat back and looked puzzled at everyone. Yeah, it was 30 great games. Okay, maybe not all great, but most of them. But we have been playing these games for years. A lot of these games have been released countless times, over and over and over again, in different ways, shapes, and forms. Donkey Kong was on an e-reader card, for goodness sakes. I mean, yeah, it was a cool collectible for sure. I never got one because, as mentioned, and no offense to anyone, I'm mostly done with those games. Yeah, playing Super Mario Bros. 3 sometimes can be fun, but really, it didn't appeal to me too much. The SNES Classic was pretty big too. Pre-orders were difficult to come by. Truth be told, the only reason I got mine was because I was in between jobs at the time of pre-orders and I could run out midday to do it. But Nintendo promised more units would be produced, and after the first round of all of them being sold out, the NES Classic became easier to obtain. Now, where I feel like I'm done with the NES games, SNES still holds me a bit more. I haven't played my SNES Classic a whole bunch though. My living room setup doesn't bode well for short cords. But at least the SNES Classic gets Star Fox 2, a previously unreleased game, along with a lot of strong titles. So it was natural everyone, including myself for a while, expected the N64 Classic or a Game Boy Classic to be released in 2018. But here we are, at the end of November, and no such announcement. There could be a few reasons for it. If the next one was for the N64, there's a lot of negotiating to do with Microsoft and Rare. The N64 Classic without Banjo-Kazooie, Perfect Dark, and the highly underrated Jet Force Gemini would be a sin. They are key parts of what made the N64 special. I left out GoldenEye and Conquer on purpose. For GoldenEye, it is also negotiating with whoever owns the rights to James Bond, and I foresee that being a little bit of a headache. It can be done, but there's a lot more to it than people think. As for Conquer, they would want to also promote this as a kid-friendly console thing, and with Conquer on it, they can't. But I think the real reason we have not seen or heard from anything pertaining to a new classic system is because of the Nintendo Switch Online services. The online services have begun a lot of, I don't want to say hate, but yeah, it's mostly been hate from fans. I haven't made a video centering around it because I'm mostly indifferent. There are some really great videos out there, in particular Arlo's, which had a lot of research and love, so please go watch it after this. But one of the big selling points beyond the ability to play online, which we were already doing, was the ability to play a bunch of NES games for free, and some of them online. But as you can imagine, with me saying earlier that I'm pretty much done with NES games, this was not a big draw for me, but I do see the appeal. Many gamers did not grow up with the NES, and even though they have been released hundreds of times already, it is nice for those who still have not experienced them. Yes, I am done for the most part, but I do think a lot should be experienced by gamers. And we know Nintendo plans on adding more and more games to the service as time goes on. Plus, if you look at the original idea for the Nintendo Switch Online services, you know, when it was meant to come out in 2017, they mentioned SNES games. I would assume eventually the library will open up by adding more SNES games into the fray as well. And with that logic and thought pattern, we can assume Game Boy and N64 games will arrive eventually. I wouldn't expect them anytime soon, especially not the N64. So why would they release a classic system when it is a lot cheaper to just put the games on the online services? They wouldn't. It would be a waste, truth be told. I do understand why the classic systems are sought after. It's a cool collectible, that's for sure. And you know how I feel about Nintendo collectibles. But let's look at the NES Classic. It was released in 2016. We can assume development on the little guy started at least in 2015 sometime. Many people might not remember 2015, 2016 because it was before the Switch and the rise of popularity with Nintendo once again. It was kind of a dark time. The Wii U, even though it had some great games, it was a long time between them, and the third parties had all but abandoned the little machine that just couldn't. It made sense to make the NES Classic to try to bring back some love for the company, and maybe get people looking at them again and possibly get them ready for the Switch. With the Nintendo Switch Online services, they can give us the games for the low amount of $20 a year. That alone makes me feel the Nintendo Switch online services have killed any chance of more classic systems to come out. Let's get something straight though. I do think the online services need to be doing something different with the games they offer. If I went over everything, well, we'd be here a while. Again, go watch Arlo's video. He will explain that better than I could when it comes to online playing with the Switch games. To offset the fact that we are not getting the classic systems, Nintendo needs to be giving us games from more than just the NES. Honestly, we need SNES, Game Boy, and N64 right off the bat. Start them with like 20 games each or so, and just keep adding more and more, once or twice a month to each library. It will take some time, but the libraries will continue to grow and grow. This would make the value of the online services worth even more as time goes on. Having access to so many great games spanning many generations, no one will even care about the classic systems or the virtual console. Oh yeah, I should probably talk about the virtual console a little bit here. Many people are still mourning the loss of the VC, and really until recently I didn't know how much I missed it too. But with the potential that the Switch online services has with bringing us all the libraries of games really could outshine the VC. No more paying for Link to the Past again. No more shelling out coins for Super Mario 64. I can't say I'm happy with the opening act of the Nintendo Switch online services and the games it provided us. But, and perhaps I do this too often, I can give them a pass, for now. But to keep that pass, Nintendo can't just sit on what they are doing. In the next Nintendo Direct, that's not a Smash focused Direct, which I would expect sometime in January, they need to go over the future plans of the Nintendo Switch Online. That SNES, N64, and more need to be coming down the line. And honestly, Nintendo playing online with those old games are neat, but if that is what is keeping you from pushing out the SNES games and more, yeah, don't worry about it. Trust me, and I speak for all of us, just patch it in later, let us play the game. Don't let that hold you back. If we know N64 games will be coming, even if it's months in advance, we don't need an N64 Classic, do we? Again, the little thing is a neat collectible, but why not get them alongside the Switch Online membership, huh? And in that logic, perhaps we could get GameCube games on the Nintendo Switch services. Yeah, let's talk about GameCube, people, because I have a few things to say. It truly amazes me how much people have wanted GameCube games on the Virtual Console. I look back when it was released and my god, I love that little thing. I love the games it had. Wait, I seem to have some memories about that time period that was unpleasant. Oh yeah, I was being called a baby at school for loving baby games on a baby console. Oh, and look how bad Zelda looks as a cartoon. Yeah, those were fun days in school. Anyway, everyone was all about the Xbox and the PS2 and ignored the GameCube. Well, it seems those people realized they missed a lot of great games, so it makes sense they want a service to help them play them. Because GameCube games are not the cheapest in the world. I still see Super Mario Sunshine for $45 to $60. Right now, no. Nintendo Switch Online is not wonderful by any means. I'm not so disappointed as I didn't expect a whole lot, truth be told, and they gave us about what I thought. The special prize thing is probably going to be laughably lackluster, and I cannot wait to see how people react. I have been with Nintendo for my whole life and never left them for any console generation, so when an odd, well-meaning choice is made, I'm used to it. My Nintendo is a prime example. But there is potential. The Classic Series consoles did a great job showing Nintendo that people still want access to these older games. It is great they are around, but I think they are just a stepping stone to the Nintendo Switch Online services. Those services may be killing off the Classic console series, in my opinion at least, but it could be a gateway to something amazing, something we have honestly been asking for a long time. A way to play all those games that shaped us as kids and helped mold us into the gamers we are today. You know, as long as Nintendo doesn't drop the ball and give us only NES games for a year. Oh god, that could happen. Yeah, that's a bit of a downer. Anyways, thank you for joining me here at the Nintendo Network. What do you think? Am I right and the classic consoles are done? Or do you think I'm off my rocker and the N64 Classic is right around the corner? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this, make sure to like and subscribe to me right here on YouTube and on my other social media outlets. Now, if you'll excuse me, we are almost 1 month from Smash Ultimate and the hype is at an all-time high. How am I going to survive this month?